Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? This was some wait, episode 2. It's our second time running this back. Drew, we can finally hear you.
It's Drew.
We got Krish.
Got
And we
Chris,
got
me.
special guest Pretty Boy K.
Oh, what's up? What's up?
So today we kind of wanted to, having K on here and stuff, we kind of wanted to talk about music because if you guys didn't know, Krishna is a rapper and he actually has an album coming out on Tuesday, I think.
Wednesday,
Wednesday. So
May 13th.
yeah. So we wanted to talk to him a little bit about his album. So what's it called?
It's called the Solar Tapes. Drops on my birthday. First album. Usually I drop my albums around late summer or near the winter, but I decided I wanted to drop it before the summer and give y'all a little something to vibe to.
Big 18.
Yes, sir.
USC 2024.
Mhm.
How's that going?
So I have a question. Why'd you call it the Solar Tapes?
Well, my last album was called Solstice, and I'm sticking with a theme. And for some reason, while making this album, I just had vibes about space. I just felt like I was in space while making the album. And I wanted to stick with the vibe of like the environment themed. I just feel like the name really fit the album cover and the music. So that's pretty much why.
How many songs are on it?
There's 11 songs and 1 bonus track. So yeah.
Any songs that have already been released, or is it all new?
I want to say 4. There's Hit the K, Walk, and Weekend. I think maybe 3. Yeah.
Is 1955 on there?
Yeah, but that's not officially.
Actually, yeah. I mean, yeah. But I feel like everyone's heard that at least already.
That's a good thing. It'll draw people.
That's a great thing. That's a great thing. People can finally
So,
listen
I
to
have
it.
a question. How long have you been making music?
Okay, so officially, I'd say recording songs with a microphone and real equipment, not on voice memos, how all rappers start out. I'd say I started around 10th grade, around like 2 years ago. But music's been in my blood my whole life. When I was young, my dad had me listening to rap music, Biggie, Tupac, all that. And when I was around 8, he bought me DJ equipment because for some reason, I think one of his dreams was to be a DJ. But obviously, growing up in that era, it was times weren't, you didn't have as many opportunities as a Indian American, especially because of your parents. You were more centered around
Education.
educated, stuff like that. So I think that was one of his dreams that he passed on to me. So I was messing around with DJ equipment from a young age, and I started producing around 14, making beats on GarageBand, Logic. And then I'd say when I was like 15 or 16, I started to take it seriously. When I went to high school and saw how big the music scene was in Atlanta, then that really pushed me to take it seriously.
So didn't you grow up in Atlanta, and now you're in Philly?
Yeah. So from the age of, I'd say, I think 6 to 12 or 6 to 11, I lived in Philly, West Philly. Then I moved to Atlanta from the age of 11 to 16. But those years were like high school and middle school, the years that like life and how you act. And then I moved back to Philly, but a different part for these last couple years.
Yeah, I feel like the place you are, where like middle school and like beginning of high school, really shapes who you are. Because I've been around a lot, right? I lived in Virginia, I lived in Texas, but the place I was at, when I moved to Michigan in 6th grade, and I've been here since, I've gotten the most influence from here.
For sure.
I have a question. So you grew up in Atlanta and now you live in Philly, right?
Yep.
So
Philly,
Atlanta and Philly are very like musically like rich places, not just rap but like all around. But especially in the rap culture, a lot of like big time rappers are from Philly, Atlanta, and so I was just wondering, like, you were in both places. Like, who is your like inspiration? Like, what kind of
Okay, so here's the thing. My biggest inspiration, there's two. Neither one of them are from Atlanta or Philly. But
Right.
I'll tell y'all who I look up to in my cities for after this. So I'd say my biggest inspiration is on the rapping side is Drake, just because he was probably the first one of this current rap generation that I really vibed with. Like there's like the old school like Biggie, Tupac, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne. But when Drake came out, I feel like he really changed the game. He started to bring melody into his raps. He started to sing about stuff that rappers weren't normally known for singing about. And I don't know, the first song I heard with by him was Best I Ever Had, and ever since I've been listening to like every Drake drop, all that. And then on the producing side, I'd say Kanye, just because in
Yeah.
my opinion, he's one of the best producers of all time. I like how he incorporates like loops. Most producers incorporate chops from songs, like sample chops, but instead of uh, chopping the samples, Kanye usually takes loops from songs, and so they're more recognizable samples, and you get the full effect of the sample. So I don't know. I think my two biggest inspirations are Kanye and Drake. But in terms of for my city, the rappers that I like the most, I'd say Lil Baby from Atlanta, of course. I like how he embraces his Atlanta culture because it's very unique Atlanta voice and Atlanta culture. He puts it into his music, but he also maintains the integrity of his lyrics. And then from Philly, PMB, Uzi, and Meek, I can't choose between the three. They've all done great things for the city, put the city on the map, because Philly has a very distinct music style, and those three rappers really brought Philly to the mainstream. So I have love for all three of those.
So would you say that um you starting to make music was inspired by where you're from, or was it entirely like a you thing, and like big, like you said, like your dad and everything like that? Like did where you're from have any impact?
It didn't have an impact on what type of, or it had an impact on what type of music I make, but the place I'm from had no impact on why I started making music, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It was more just my family loves music, and I just fell in love with music as soon as I started doing it. That's all.
So you grew up around it, so it kind of like it came to you.
Yeah.
I have a question. This is a controversial topic, but what's your thoughts on the N word and brown people using the N word in music?
Okay.
Because
So
especially
I
like
just
TikTok, like it's been a pretty heavily debated subject by you,
Yeah.
especially. Like you've been
Yeah.
in a lot of conversations about it.
I just don't agree with any brown person using the N word in music. It's just not your place to use it, and you know the history behind the word. So I feel like using the N word is disrespectful to the roots of hip hop, which started from African Americans. Like you're just disrespecting the culture of hip hop by trying to claim something that doesn't belong to you. That's just my opinion on it. People have
You think
different, and I know that the brown rappers who have used it grew up around people using the N word. But if you can't survive in the rap game without using the N word, then you're probably not a talented artist, because there's many words you can work around without saying the N word. So
yeah, it's one word. It shouldn't really like affect you that badly.
I like the
songs without using the N word.
word.
What do you think
But
about Hispanic people using it?
yeah, that's pretty much the same thing. Except the thing about Latinos is a lot of them have African blood. So you don't really know. Like, there's a difference. It depends on where you're from. That's a way deeper question. I don't like.
Yeah, that is. That's. I feel
There's
like
there's a lot more
it's more
complex.
accepted. It's more accepted for Hispanic people to use it as well.
So like, what do you think about Nav? Like Nav started off in the six. He started off saying the N word. Now he doesn't say it anymore.
That's a good example. I respect him for that, because he could have just ignored what everybody was saying and stopped saying it. But he grew up around it. I don't think he really knew what he was doing was wrong. He didn't know that it was offensive to people, but once he found out it was offensive, he stopped saying it. So I don't think anybody can have a problem with that at all.
Once they called him out, he stopped it. So
He was informed that it was offensive to other people. He stopped. It's not like he was like, "Oh, I don't care. I'm gonna keep doing me." It's not like he was doing it to offend somebody. And he learned his lesson and moved on. I think that's what you have to do.
I mean, yeah, you live, you learn. That's the only way to keep going.
Sure.
They can't bring him down because of that. So I have another thing to ask. This one, it's a big thing as of yesterday. What do you think about 6ix9ine getting out? That whole situation.
No. No. I don't really. I believe that you shouldn't snitch, especially if you're involved in illegal activities, because you know the street code. You know how the streets work. When you take part in illegal activities, you know exactly what's coming to you. So
So
for
you're
you,
more on the Meek Mill side than 6ix9ine side.
yeah, I don't think you should. Okay, you got involved with the wrong people. You knew what you were doing when you got involved with it. So you signed that code to the streets. You signed the loyalty to the people you're working with because it's a dangerous life. Why are you gonna just switch up and snitch on somebody? I guarantee you, if actually, I don't even know. I just don't. I
No,
don't think you should ever snitch. That's just.
I mean,
but there was that
like,
situation where my bad. You can go, Krish.
I mean, like, I think it's like with snitches, like, they're just selfish. Like, they only look out for themselves. Like, especially, okay, so like, if I snitch on you, but I was a part of it, same thing with 6ix9ine, then like, and I don't say my part of it, then like, um, then you get all the bad, and that's just like selfish, because you should like take part of your actions and shit like that. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
he definitely did it to save his own skin. Like he knew he was gonna be in for a lot, so he was like, maybe if I expose the other people in it, I'll get a lighter sentence, and like he did. He's out now. But like honestly, the kind of people he was involved with,
They
I
didn't
would
show loyalty to him either.
I wouldn't be surprised if something happens. Like I'm not making any predictions or anything like that. But I'm just saying, like, if in the next couple of weeks I heard something happen related to 6ix9ine, like I wouldn't be surprised because the kind of people that he dealt with, like those are dangerous people. And those
Oh yeah,
people
he has to have eyes around him at all times.
That getting into it, once you take part in that activity, that you're never supposed to be able to get out. And he put other people in for himself to get out, and that's really not what it's about. Because you made a conscious decision that you were gonna take part in this life. So stick with it. You know the code. Don't break it.
There's definitely a big price on his head right now. That's all I'm gonna say. In New York,
I will say I do enjoy his music. I just can't take him as a person. I do like his music, but yeah.
I can't like listen to someone's music knowing that like it's not real, or like I don't feel like, because like when I
I
like
have
see them as a person and I hear
yeah,
so like when I see them as a person, I hear the music, I can like vibe with the music. But if I like get to know like what they've done and who they are, like it just doesn't seem like the same thing to me.
Yeah,
So,
there's certain rappers you root for because of their story.
yeah.
Meek Mill for one.
Yeah.
I have respect.
Everyone loves that story.
I could vibe with his music, and I was like, yo, like he's really about this lifestyle until all this shit happened. Then I was just like, yo, like he's really capping on all of his songs. Like
No, but here's what I realized. It's like the people he was with didn't show loyalty to him in the first place either. Like they slept with his baby mama, they robbed him, they kidnapped him. So you have to bring that in. Like it's not like they were amazing people to him and he just screwed them over at the end of the day. It's not like they deserved that loyalty.
But you know that you're not getting in bed with good people. So first of all, like that's his fault for getting in bed with the wrong people. Now he's in that bed. They mess with him. He has to deal with that. That doesn't like you could retaliate, but you can't snitch on them because now they're facing jail time.
Yeah, but I guess it's like now it was either a lose situation for him.
Like he
anyway.
ruined other people's lives to save his own, where he could have just done something low key to get back at them. You know what I mean?
I don't think. I think like
Yeah, he had no
he
way
didn't
out.
really.
He had
Yeah,
no way.
it was a lose-lose situation.
He made that happen himself. He had no way out, so he snitched. That was his way out. But
I
now,
mean, that's still a loss because right now I'm telling you, there's probably a price on his head in New York. There's so
For
many people
sure.
trying to go for
For
him.
sure. He definitely has people gunning for him right now.
There's a big red target with 6ix9ine on it,
yeah, for sure.
especially after like the shit he's done too. Like it's so crazy to me that he shot Chief Keef or his people did. That's so crazy to me at this point. I mean, that's a good story of someone who got out of that life after they got into music, though. Chief Keef, because he's not really about that as much as he used to.
Oh, baby, I'd say he's the greatest example.
Yeah. Baby stopped doing drugs.
Yeah, and he's investing in Atlanta. Like he's investing in the underdeveloped parts of Atlanta. That I admire because becoming a businessman after becoming a rapper is what you have to do to grow your money. You hear about all these rappers going broke.
You can't keep rapping your whole life. You have to turn it into something.
And invest in your community. That's the smartest thing you can do because they'll show loyalty to you if you show loyalty to them, and that's what you need.
And at the end of the day, that's like what everyone wants. You have that respect, that like that clout in your community. Because would you rather be known for something bad like 6ix9ine is, or would you want to be known for something good? At the end of the day, because it's like I still don't stand with the any publicity is good publicity because I'd rather not be known than be known for something bad, if you know what I mean. Because then what's the point of it?
It's the same thing. I'm gonna bring something up. So, what's this man's name? Abby's Ting.
Yeah.
That's TikTok.
I don't. Okay, yeah, but like I'm gonna just bring this. Like I don't like his mindset at all. Thinking he can come up in here and basically be the most hated person on this app
just to get views towards his music.
Just to get views for his music. Like that's not how you do it. If people enjoy your music, they'll tell other people, "Yo, listen to this man. This man's hard." But now he's trying to like, I understand what he's doing, like what he's trying to do, but I don't agree with it at all because if you're already hated, okay, so I think that was like if the same thing goes like with the SafeMan thing. If I don't like them as a person, I'm most like 9 times out of 10 not gonna enjoy their music. So like say you don't like Ubby's thing, right? You listen to his music, you're automatically gonna like assume that it's trash just because of your feelings towards
him. Before you get into it, you're gonna go into the mindset to criticize it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when you don't like somebody, you want to criticize their craft. But like the minute they make,
you know the thing that pisses me off about Ubby's thing is, like, he didn't have like a good vibe to start with, right? Like no one really vibed with him because he was such a controversial person, and everyone told him that. And I feel like he just got more controversial after that. Like he definitely
that's what he did. That's literally what he did to get more clout,
which made me mad.
Yeah.
Like, and he openly was like, "Yo, like I'm the most controversial person on TikTok. Like everybody hates me. I'm the most hated person." Like, why would you embrace that kind of vibe? You're a grown adult, bro. You should be putting out a better image for yourself.
See, that's the definition of a clout chaser.
Like, exactly. Like lead by example. You know, you're older than all of us. Like you should have the most wisdom. You should have like the most experience in what you should do, especially if you want to go into music. If you're doing it for that long, and you're like, I don't know how old he is, but he's definitely like
he's like 28, right?
Something like that.
He's like 28, and like I don't mind him on TikTok. Like I don't pay attention to him, but like know your place and lead by example. That's all I gotta say. Like it wasn't his place to get involved with anything in the first place.
Yeah, that's true as well.
But that's my take on it.
I'd rather support someone like Rish.dog, as you guys know, like, because he stands by a good image. He carries a good. What's it?
Rish.dog and another popular TikToker that advocates for the brown community is Grace.
The message he carries, I support that. Because he talks about embracing being brown more.
And Kay, you often make a lot of TikToks about embracing brown culture, going out against the stereotypes. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so anything in specific? Like, what do you want to hear about?
You told me before this you wanted to talk about Never Have I Ever, so I'm gonna let you have your full say on that.
Oh
The
yeah.
Netflix show.
Basically, I think Never Have I Ever is very stereotypical. It doesn't portray. It portrays a reality for some people, but is that the reality that we want as a culture? I don't really think so. Do we want to be struggling do we want to be battling our identity, like the balance between being whitewashed and trying
Being
to
cultured.
Yeah.
culture?
I don't like how people are put down for being more cultured than other people are.
That's what I'm saying. But like,
Why don't we try to fit in? We can fit in by still being cultured. We don't have to
yeah,
entirely change who we are to be. Because in my opinion, we shouldn't view culture in a monolithic sense. Like there are no boundaries when it comes to identity. For example, like with myself, my identity as a rapper borrows from black culture and various other cultures. And if we could like reimagine how we view culture, we could fully take advantage of the diverse cultures in America. Because in reality, everybody is a hybrid of culture. We're all we're all in an environment where we're viewing many cultures. And it's really how you use that to your advantage. But it's really hard to do that sometimes because of what we see in the media with shows like Never Have I Ever that tells Indian Americans that we need to be a certain way and we need to conform to the stereotypes in order to be successful. But the thing is that narrative wasn't written by us. So we need to write a new narrative of who we want to be. And in my opinion, that identity is subjective because it depends on where you grew up and who you stay around that influences who you are as a person. There's no box that you need to fit in for your identity.
Of course. It's like I feel like people who are surrounded by less people of the same culture, I guess they lose a little bit of touch from it.
yeah.
Which
Obviously it's very important to maintain your heritage and remember where you
and your identity.
but you also need to soak in the diverse range of cultures that you come in contact with every day to fully have a deeper appreciation for humanity.
Yeah, I feel like mixing too much with your own culture and ignoring other cultures is bad. I feel like ignoring your culture to fit in with other people is bad. I feel like the ideal situation is to be friends with all types of people, embrace all types of cultures, because like that's how you get a really nice experience and a nice perspective on the world. Because the thing is, every culture, every religion, every race, everyone has a different viewpoint on life, and being friends with every type of person, it enlightens you in a way. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I have all types of friends and I hang out with all different types of people, and I feel like that gives you each time you hang out with someone new, it gives you a different perspective on what life is like per person, per rate, like what like take your, like, if you have like a Muslim friend, for example, like a Pakistani, like Muslim friend, right? Being a Hindu versus being a Muslim are two completely different things, and the way, like, they're from the same area basically, but the way they have different viewpoints on life is so interesting. Like,
yeah. I was.
No, but then there's also like Indian Muslims too.
yeah,
And there's
Yeah. I was gonna go to Krishna. I saw on your TikTok when it was like Indian struggle as it is to find a mix between being like, I guess, whitewashed and cultured,
Mhm.
because like and like I agree with your point when it was like it just matters where you grow up, because like, I mean, I'll be honest, I mean, like where I grew up, it's like a mainly white area, like a mainly Caucasian area, so I don't get much diversity in my area, so I'm more gravitated towards that culture. But like, it's not like I'm completely ignoring the other side of me. Like, I love being an Indian American, like an Indian kid in America, because it shows like we're different from like the rest, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like, it goes for other races too. Like sometimes even white kids may struggle with it because they might grow up in a sort of area where there's not as much white people where as you would think. But like, for any race, like, it just matters really where you grow up. And like, I don't think people really understand that, because like, people will call me whitewashed or whatever, but I'm just like, you try growing up where I grew up and like see how it could affect you. You know what I mean? Like,
It's very hard to appreciate your culture. It's easy to appreciate your culture at home, but it's very hard to appreciate our culture in the
outside of.
around other
Mhm.
cities. That's just how our society is today. And in my opinion, that's why we need a strong Indian icon that can pave the way and show the rest of the media and the rest of the world how we appreciate our culture and how beautiful our culture really is. Because as of now, we only have a few, and some of them don't really show what it feels like to be an Indian American.
Like, yeah, Nav, he doesn't really show what it's actually like to be Indian.
But
He's really the most Indian he goes is by calling himself a brown boy. It's because he's Indian. He doesn't really embrace it.
he created that.
Yeah,
Created that
And
he paved that way though.
he started the road.
with the stereotypical brown boy that all the brown girls on TikTok claim to hate. The brown boy that embraces other
Yeah.
cultures, embraces
No,
black.
my issue is
That's
I hate that we put down our own people so much.
Yeah. We say like
Facts. Okay, here's all right. I wanted to really like I was hoping somebody would bring this up. Okay, so a lot of people on TikTok, like brown creators especially, they make brown content, like what it's like being brown. Okay. And some people like okay, there's a difference between making stereotypical brown content and making content about stuff that you actually like. You can make a joke about being like brown and stuff when it's relatable, but don't make like stereotypical brown jokes and call it relatable. Like, don't be like, oh, like I'm Belgi or like some like stuff like that, because that's not funny. That's just racist. And
That's
being
why
racist towards your own race is
makes no sense. It
dumb.
makes no sense.
You're not showing respect towards
You're
it.
forget putting your own people down. You're putting yourself down, and you're giving other people the window of opportunity to put you down as well. Because then, if you try to stand up for yourself, they're gonna be like, you make fun of your own culture. You're racist towards yourself. Why can't we be racist to you?
That's why you guys know Kid Curry, right? He cleared out his old channel for everything because he saw that. Because somebody in his DMs came in and told them about that. Like, you need to take down your stuff. Like, you're making it okay for other people to make fun of us because you're making fun of our own culture and those stereotypes.
Personally, I've made brown TikToks before, like funny brown TikToks. But the thing is, like, I've like those situations have actually happened. Like Hassan Minaj is an amazing example.
I think he's the one I actually stand with.
He makes a lot of fun about like he pokes fun at brown culture and everything, but the difference is he went through those situations. Like he's talking about stuff and poking fun at stuff he actually went through as a brown person.
And he still embraces it to an extent too. Like he'll stand up for it. He'll poke fun at it to a point where it's funny and relatable, but it's not too far.
You need to learn how to poke fun at yourself and your culture without putting it down. That's my thing.
Yeah. You have to
Hassan,
appreciate your culture. Like show what it feels like. If you're gonna show the world what it means to be Indian American, show what it actually means. Don't show what they want to hear. That's the difference.
because they just like seeing the jokes of like, oh, Indian dads, drunk uncles, and that shit. And it's just like, to an extent, that gets overplayed to an extent. Like I didn't like Lily Singh's videos growing up. I don't know. She went like too far.
I was literally about to like bring her up. Like
I
don't
like Hassan
that.
Minaj. I feel like he's one that I
Yeah.
can stand
She's
behind.
such a popular creator, or she was a really popular creator and influencer. And on it, like I don't want to say it's entirely her fault because people created stereotypes on their own, but I feel like she like honestly had a pretty decent impact on a lot of stereotypes that we have today.
I think
Like
she was the definition of going too far. Like Just Rain's videos were still funny to an extent, but
our
hers I didn't even find it funny.
our generation grew up watching people like her, people like Niga Higa, like um like especially when I was in like grade school, like she was really popular back
I think
then.
like middle school was like her peak. Like
Yeah.
when I was in like 6th grade,
Yeah,
7th
so
grade.
she had a lot of impact on how people view Indians because at the time, like if I remember correctly, she was the only big Indian media influencer.
I only remember like watching Lily sing and Just Rain at that time. I think
Yeah.
those are the only two big brown people. But Just Rain was watched mainly by brown people.
Yeah.
But
Lily sing,
Difference between
her content was watched by both.
yeah.
So
Everyone watched Superwoman.
yeah. So all they saw was the bad that she would always show. She would never show any good.
yeah, and like it goes to, like I said this point earlier when it was like the standards for us are so low when it comes to anything but academics. I'm talking sports, music, anything else. Like literally, like we are known to be smart, and like I mean,
Like
like hell, but like hell yeah, we're smart, but like we're also
We're so
talented.
much more than that.
bring more to the table.
It's
Yeah.
Like no, the second they see someone that's he's an Indian, he must be smart. That's the first thing they think.
Or
they see someone.
or he's like, oh, you're Indian, you must be rich. Like that stuff
You
annoys.
like yeah, like the whole like business gas station. Like okay, some people do, but
Yeah.
not everyone.
Literally,
Like
me and Krish went live yesterday on Instagram, and someone joins our live and goes, "So which one of y'all's dad owns the gas stations?" Like that's not every single Indian person.
Like
smart. The idea of every Indian being smart stems from model minority, and that also is a big issue in our community because it puts unfair pressure on everybody to live one life of the model minority, which is all Indians, all Asians need to become a doctor. But that really puts us in a box and limits,
Rish.dog coming in.
which is why you don't see us expanding and becoming. You're set in a box. You're literally put in a box because of the model minority concept. So
All right, so someone we brought up before is Rishi on TikTok. He's known as Rish.dog, and he actually blew up recently because he made a couple of TikToks about
All
how
right, wait. No. I've been up for a while.
I noticed him.
For a
I
while.
noticed him from his TikTok. He posted about how brown people need to learn how to embrace their culture instead of putting it down, which is what we've been talking about. So, what's your thoughts on
Perfect timing.
yeah, literally perfect.
All right, so like, I mean, I guess like, you mean just my thoughts about it? Like, basically, like, I mean, I am a brown kid, but like, I grew up too, like the rest of us did, and like, especially me, like, I didn't really have any brown like friends really. Like, I live in a suburb of Philly where it's like mostly white people around me, basically. So I had to grow up with the typical experience of like, trying to fit in, and it's like, there's also another conversation I could get into about like America's black-white social dichotomy and where we fit into that. But it's like, for me specifically, where my surroundings were mostly like white people, it's like, obviously you want to fit in, and like, so when you try to embrace your culture, it's like people are going to put you down for it just because the society, like, we get made fun of for it. People see Indians as just this joke, like whether it's like that we're smelly, whether it's that, we work in tech support, whether it's just
We
like,
own gas stations. We're
whether we
smart.
look
That's
like poop or like we talk like Dirk. Like for some reason, I don't know where the root of it really is. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know what it goes back to, but we're just seen as a joke. So, I mean, it's kind of normal for Indians to want to fit in as a minority in like such a white centric dominated country, like that was founded by white people, and it's the people in power are white people. So to want to fit in, obviously you're going to want to be more like them. And if those people have the tendency to put down your culture and see it as a joke, you're going to do the same thing. Like you're going to adapt to that and want to put down your own culture in order to fit in with theirs. So that's kind of like what I meant I said like be the white man's sidekick, it's that like to get validation from the white people. Because I know personally for me, like maybe it's not as bad for every Indian kid, but when I was growing up, I literally wanted to be white. Like it's not like I like wanted to like be friends with white people. It's like I genuinely wanted to be Caucasian. Like I would pray. I remember like I would be taught. You know how like your parents will tell you like, okay, like pray to Jebaba or Bhagwan at night. So I would be like, bro, why am I not white? Like, why did I would be like, why did you have to make me the one brown kid? Like, why could I not just be like everybody else?
You
I
just thought you
remember
didn't fit
thinking,
in. You were
I grew
different.
up.
You
yeah,
felt
exactly.
different.
I remember thinking those exact things, and it's just like, it's
Yeah.
such a shame now that I think about it. Like, it's corny, but like honestly, like we're made to stand out and not fit in.
I mean,
you know?
I grew up the same way you did because I'm in the suburbs of Virginia. You know, like I'm in the South. Like
Mhm.
it's mainly like Caucasian. It's mainly white. So like, yeah, growing up here, being pretty much the only brown kid in my school, like I didn't have like much of an opportunity to like really embrace my brown culture as much as I could have. Like, cause I mean, I can at home, but like not to the rest of the world or like the rest of the area around me. So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I have been, you know, I have done like I've made jokes about my culture and stuff. Like I'm not gonna lie, I have, but like I remember like growing up, like I would get made fun of for like eating Indian food at lunch. Like
Yeah, me too.
I would like
Oh,
Yeah.
facts.
That was when I was
Yeah.
little, especially.
like
Dude, I
I would
remember actually
like I would be scared to eat lunch because I didn't want to get made fun of. Like it got to the point where it was so bad. Like I would just like rather buy lunch. Like I don't know. Like it was just like I'm glad I grew up the way I did though. Cause like knowing now that like I know who I am and I know my culture and I'm proud to say that I'm Indian is like the best thing.
And honestly, like, it's like I know it sucks when we're going through it, but like I've had so many people like DM me and shit saying like they grew up the same way. And I think that's like for most Indian kids, like that's just the reality of it. And so I think it's like it's a natural arc we all go through is that like we're kind of ashamed of our culture at one point. And I don't think that's because of us or anything. That's just society like conditions us that way. Like again, in a white country, that's just how it is. But then like once you're around for me it was 17 is when I started to appreciate my culture. Like I don't even now like it was weird like until junior year of high school like I completely neglected it kind of. Then senior year I had like a romanticization period where like I fell in love with the culture. Like I would watch Bollywood all the time. Like I wore a sherwani, like you know the things like the princes
yeah,
wear.
I
I
wanted
wore
to,
that
I
to
wanted to ask
prom.
you about that. You wore sherwani to prom.
Yeah.
What was your what were you like? Did you just like think like did you think about it or did you just like wake up? You were like, you know what? I'm wear this to prom. Like
Well,
what
I
was
mean, well, whether or not I like to embrace my Indian culture, I've always been like an attention hoe. Like, I said not to curse. I'm
You can
sorry.
say what like
say
it's
it's
okay.
fine.
It's
Just
okay.
No,
If you
yeah,
slip up, it's okay.
like I always need the sun. I'm just that kind of guy. Like, you know. And then so
You
I was,
want
you know,
people to be looking at you.
yeah, exactly. So I was thinking about like, ways to stand out with my friends, and that was the same period where I was learning to appreciate being Indian. And
So you
it's
just
like,
want to stun on them. You're like,
yeah,
you want
it's just
people to
like
see
you.
this?
And I went like full like that last part of my senior year, I went full through with being Indian, bro. Like I would like flex it to everybody, like flex the beauty of my
That's
culture.
kind of been me now. Like
Yeah, that's and it's a good phase to go through. Like I remember when I graduated at my school, it was like so when we graduate, I think most schools you have to walk across and do something. So I
Yeah.
walked across and I did namaste and I bowed to the crowd. Like, bro, I was fully in it, and like that's a great feeling, honestly. But it's weird because like it's hard to find the balance of being Indian American rather than being American, where I completely neglected being Indian, then being like fully Indian. I remember like in senior year when I was like fully in that phase, I would be like thinking like, no, I need to move to India, bro. Like, fuck. I mean, like, I'll be like, forget
It's okay.
America, all that. But it's hard to find that balance of being like proud to be both Indian and American. So I'm working.
Yeah, I feel
You
feel
had
like
did you have a prom date? Like
Me?
yeah.
Yeah.
So what did she say about it? Like
I mean, luckily she wasn't white. She was black, so like, you know, black people are usually down for the culture. Like she loved it. So
They're the drippiest people at proms. I'm
Oh,
telling you, just high school dances. They're so
that's
drippy, bro.
respect.
Yeah, but like one thing I noticed, it's like I feel like most people growing up, at least like here, it's like they're white when they're at school, but then when they're at home, they really embrace their culture only when they're like at home or they're at the mandir or the mosque or the gurdwara, like when they're surrounded by their people. So they
That's
like
true.
never really embraced it unless they had to, I
You'll
guess.
see brown people pull up in like their langas, their kurtas, their like everything on like a garba or something like that.
Same thing, like
And on a normal like day-to-day basis, you'll catch them like acting whitewashed, and like if you like they'll use terms like fobby and stuff like that when you're just talking about like your culture, trying to embrace your culture. So like
I've been caught guilty of that too. Like I'm saying that right now. Like actually, after seeing your video, Rishi, that kind of opened my eyes a little bit too. More
yeah,
of something I did more when I grew up, like trying to be the white kid sidekick.
In
I mean, yeah,
America,
I
Like
kind
making
of
this,
like that video is. Wait, Krishna, you were
Yeah.
saying something. Say that. Say it.
in America, we're conditioned to think that our culture is the other culture.
That's a fact. Yeah, Orientalism.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a culture, like there's that
Society,
cultural superiority, I guess, with every like putting down other cultures. Like yours is the best.
we live in a binary society right now, racial binary, where it's like black or white, and oftentimes, especially in Philly, that you're made to fit into one side.
Krishna, bro, I'm about to write a book about that. Like, I swear to God, bro, I've been thinking about that all the time.
There's a racial binary. You have to choose what side you're gonna pick, and oftentimes from Indians in America, where if
We're
you
forced into the white category because we're
Yeah.
the model minority, man.
if you try to fit in
Yeah.
with the black side, your parents they won't let you. Like it's just
Yeah.
it is.
It's really complicated, and like it makes you like it's honestly like it's a pretty big dilemma, because if you're white, if you act whitewash, your parents are going to call you out. If you act blackwash, your parents are going to call you out. Your parents want you to embrace your culture, then you try to embrace your culture with people that aren't a part of your culture, and then you get called out in that situation too. And I'm from New Jersey, and a lot of us like here, a majority of the people that I know in my school on too, like we're all brown people, and still if you try to embrace your culture, you will get made fun of.
Yo,
Here
wait.
too.
I'm probably gonna make a TikTok out of this, but I'm gonna just read this thing. I post this on my Instagram. I have a highlight, but I wrote some shit about this because like, not I shouldn't curse. I'm sorry, bro. But like,
It's all good.
I wrote some about this because like people in my high school were mad about something where in one of my TikToks where I said I was whitewashed and blackwashed. They got mad that I said I was blackwashed, and like rightfully so. Like I understand, but I had to explain it. So basically, I wrote like, I'm so tired of going through a life where if I act too white, I'm called whitewashed, and if I act too black, I'm accused of appropriation. Should I just listen to Bollywood music and wear Indian clothes every day, just speak Hindi? No, because then I'm called less American. As a brown American, I don't fit into America's black-white dichotomy. All my life, I've been pushed back and forth between the two sides. The society systemically won't let me fit in, and so far the people in it won't let me feel comfortable in my own identity. Ask yourself, where in your social circles have you seen clear, distinct social designations for brown Americans? They more than likely either assimilate into white culture or black culture. I would love to just act Indian all the time, but all the kids who told me I smelled like curry, looked like poop, and ignored me for practicing my culture ruined that for me. The reasoning for this is simple. The vast majority of Indian and Desi Americans are either immigrants or the children of immigrants. There's no Indian American culture or way of performing oneself that is accepted as American because we have just been introduced to society. And when I say way of performing oneself, I mean like there's no Indian American way to talk, to walk, or to, carry out your daily activities. So all that I can do is try to forge an identity for myself that draws from cultures that have influenced me. And I've always made a clear effort to acknowledge this as to avoid appropriating. And so like when I said blackwash, I really meant that like society, like Krishna said, like society tries to put us in these boxes of black or white. And like I remember even, bro, I swear to God, like when I was one time in middle school, I was talking to my friend, my white friend, and he just asked me, because people always love to ask like, what are you, whatever. So I was like, yeah, I'm Indian. He was like, no, are you white or black? I was like, bro, like I'm Indian. All right, so he was like, all right, so you're black. I was like, wait, what? He was like, if you're not white, you're black. And so like, and most people nowadays won't say that, but they're still ingrained. Like in our society, there is this dichotomous, or Krishna was saying binary, same thing. That way of
It's like
thinking.
white people and then people of color. That's
Yeah.
just it.
And-
But they'll just call it black.
Yeah, and that stems from slavery. Like this country was founded on that complex of white versus black, or white versus the native, just the white versus the other. And so when I said blackwash, I mean society often pushed me into that box of fitting the black identity, or sometimes they push me in the box of fitting the white identity. So like I think all brown kids go through that struggle of being whitewashed and blackwashed in their life. Do you know what I mean?
It's like an identity crisis,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
What I
Like,
wanted to
I
talk
feel like-
about was the term fob. A lot of times fob is used to describe brown people, but fob means fresh off the boat. It could
Technically, I'm a fob.
it could be used to describe technically anybody from a foreign nation, but it's targeted towards Indian
Us.
people.
Well, that's not true.
No, it's not. There's a show.
East Asians use that term too. There's a
Yeah.
culture.
There's a show, Eddie Huang show, Fresh Off the Boat.
Everybody uses the term wrong. Like we use it to describe people in India. They always say, "Oh, the
Yeah,
fob."
they say fobs, but they're in India. They're not in America.
No.
So I don't think.
That's
I don't know. I think that term is like bad because it's kind of come to have a negative connotation to it, and that's like the whole point of that is just saying that these people are worse or lesser or less cool because they act more Indian than us, and that goes back to the whole point of shitting on our own culture. It's like why?
I mean, I don't think it's not a bad thing at all that they live in India. It's most of the people they go for too. It's like the people that live in India. Or TikTok India became like a whole joke for everybody.
Yeah, like the term fob itself isn't bad, but the connotation that's become attached to it is bad. Like when you see girls, like brown girls, they'll be like, all these fobs in my DM so creepy. Like, bro, shut up. You could just say all these people. You don't have to.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother issue.
Positive connotation. I think it was used to separate, to divide Indian Americans
And Indians, yeah.
But it's the wrong term.
minorities pitted against each other. And
I hate when they say ABCD, bro.
Yeah, I don't think our generation knows what that means.
I know.
American born confused.
American born
Stacy.
Stacy? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think.
People call me that all the time in my DMs and comments and shit.
I got called that before, but people still don't know. I was born in India still. I moved here when I was 4.
Oh, no.
So like I kind of got that taste of like living in India for a little bit and moving to America. But then I like assimilated very fast 'cause I just didn't fit in. Like when I was little,
Yeah,
when I was
like-
really little, like I hated being Indian because I was like, I don't fit in. I don't have any friends. I can't.
Yeah.
I knew little English, but like
Yeah.
I pushed myself to learn it, and like
I never really had a struggle with making friends. I think it was just like with me and my personality, I'm always known to let go and just
that's
not.
true.
So like, I think for me, like I heard all these comments and like stuff about me, but like I never really cared in a sense. Like, I mean, yeah, like I still struggled to fit in, like until like probably until like freshman year, even now, like actually, yeah, probably until about like sophomore year. I'm a sophomore. Probably until about sophomore year, like I didn't really know who I was. Like I didn't know what to identify as. And then like when because I never really had like brown friends, like I always had white friends. Like that's who I grew up with. But then like when I hopped on TikTok on the summer and I saw these other brown people that like went through the same issues as me, like I finally like understood like I'm not the only one in this mess, and like I have people I can relate to. And like my white friends always ask me like, why do you always talk to these people? Because I can relate to these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Like at this point in my life, I feel like the most comfortable and connected to my culture than ever. And I think I give entire thanks to TikTok, bro. Like people think it's just a game, like it's just TikTok, but like being part of this like brown community is like so good for me. I can't even explain, because like I'm the same way. Like in high school, well, they weren't all white. Actually, most of my friends in high school were black, but like in middle school they were white. And it's like again with that whole whitewash blackwash thing, but like to know like to just have this community on TikTok and be able to share content and watch with them, bro, like and made friends like you guys off of it, bro. It feels so good. Like
It finally feels like I fit in. Like,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
I'm not. I don't have to change myself to like
Yeah, like
be in people's liking.
I'm from a, like I mentioned it before, we have a really high like Indian population in New Jersey, but a lot of the people here still they're like
They don't
whitewash,
embrace
blackwash, like
it.
they don't embrace the culture. So like meeting people on TikTok who are like who embrace being brown, like embrace their culture completely, but also maintain the balance of being an American kid, like that, like it was a really cool experience because I never met like I have some friends who are like that here, but meeting new people who are like a vast majority of people, like that was just really cool.
Yeah. It's
And like
cool to see people like express that they're brown. Like people make TikToks or like that like with Bollywood songs and like putting on Indian clothes, and I'm like, wait, and you're American? It was like honestly when I first got TikTok, it was like eye opening to me. Like I didn't know that like
Yeah.
there were people like that.
before
Exactly.
TikTok, honestly, before TikTok, I would never have posted anything like that on the internet because I would be afraid of being made fun of. And after opening TikTok and seeing that American kids post stuff like that and they're not afraid to do that, they're not afraid to get made fun of, that was like, bro, like I can do that too then. Like there's no difference. Anyone can do it.
The reason I got on TikTok was my white friend told me, "Hey, there's a lot of Indian kids blowing up on there." I was like, "Hold on."
Yes.
I've
Yes.
never-
That's a fact, bro. But the thing wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, because like the thing is like, bro, because all my friends, like not my white friends, but like just my friends in general, they would send me like like mad TikToks, and this was at the point where I was like, nah, like forget TikTok, it's for little kids or whatever. And so like they would send me all these, you know how like early on like Indian TikTok was mostly like the people making fun of our culture,
In the
like
summer, yeah, that's like
yeah,
In the summer.
and like they were mad funny, but like every time they would send me those videos, I would feel a little offended. It's just like, cause bro, I feel like for some reason all the TikToks I'd ever seen at that point were just people making fun of Indians.
I feel like
And
those were the ones that blew up.
yeah, they were,
Yeah.
and
Those are
then
the only ones.
it was a little excessive. I felt like so that's why I
There's a
kinda,
level. It reached a level, and I think everyone realized that now, which is why the community now is so
Wait,
much different than it was
Rishi,
then.
Rishi, I have a question.
yeah.
So you made that first TikTok that you made about like being the white man's sidekick. What pushed you to finally making that video? Because I know you had
Oh.
like those thoughts in your head for a while, but
Oh
what
yeah,
did you actually make the video?
So basically, that morning, that was not like a plan. Like a now, kind of some of my content I kind of plan. I'll be, like the day before, I'll be like, yeah, I need to make a video on Never Have Ever or whatever. But that video, that was like, you see how mad I was in that video. I was not fronting. Like I was like I was genuinely mad
Yeah.
because that morning I had seen. I woke up, went on TikTok. I saw like these two white kids basically, and they're like making this video. They're like, "What did you get on your test? I got an A," and they were like beating them on the ground or something.
I saw
with some
that.
spatula.
I saw that.
And I
And
was
did you
like,
guys see the video of that kid that like got bullied? Like they were just making fun of like the one
Are you talking
song.
about the one where it was the white guy singing the Punjabi song? And
Yeah, he was just sitting there.
No,
Yeah.
2 weeks after I made a TikTok, that video popped up on my For You page.
Dude, I was so pissed when I saw
Yeah.
that video.
I was
Exactly.
so mad.
and it's stuff like that. And then I go in the comments and I see like lines.
Oh, I'm
of,
Indian.
Yeah,
I'm
like
Indian. I
I'm
thought that was
brown,
funny.
I'm brown and I support this.
No. Do you
Yeah.
guys remember that one TikTok when it was like when I get a pimple on my forehead? It was like this white girl
That
when I
made
get
me
a pimple.
so mad.
That made me so freaking pissed. Like I was so
Hey, which
like I was
TikTok, bro?
so like
It was this white girl, and
it was
she
this white girl when she was like
right
when I
here.
have a
Oh,
pimple
the
on my
dot. Yeah, the
yeah,
dot.
that made me so freaking mad. Like
So I was
how are you gonna make fun of another culture when you're making fun of your own skin? Like when you're making fun, like you're basically using your insecurity to make fun of another culture.
Thanks.
no,
like-
And I saw this one video as well. It was like this one kid, you know, like the thing where they're like, oh, calling like people who don't take a shower, like something like that, like to get Indian people in the video. Not all my brown people are here.
Oh my god,
But,
that
like-
trend, bro.
Yeah, but that kid was like, oh, would you get away with not taking a shower for like 3 months or something like that? Like in that sense, like saying we smell. Now that all my Indian people are here, and he just like photoshopped the bindi on, and, like a lenga or something,
And then
and that just pissed me off because that was excessive, and you're just making fun of.
yeah, so when I saw that one
brown
video,
people.
and I saw all those people saying like I'm brown, I approve. It kind of struck a chord in me, like that, like seeing that just it hurt me because I know that those people on the inside, they watch that video and they like on the deep inside they feel
They
made
cringe.
fun of and they feel degraded, but society has conditioned us to just like shove it off or shrug it off as like okay and just also participate
Because it's
in
just a
putting down
joke.
our own
It's just
culture,
a
right?
joke.
Yeah,
Like
when
by
I
calling it a joke, just put down our own culture. So that I was like, nah, like I'm done. Like this is bullshit. Like
Attack
you
us in
have
the
to make a change.
our own people attack us in the comments saying it's just a joke. Chill out. It's just a
Like
joke.
yeah,
It's
when
not.
I
It's not a joke.
duetted,
What?
when
I
I duetted that video, I got so many comments. I even got DMs. People were like, "Why are you so uptight? Like it's a joke. Relax. Like you're the reason we get made fun of." I was like,
Wait.
"Oh man, you're the reason we get made fun of.
Because
You're
you're okay with that. You
Dude.
let them get away with it.
supporting us getting made fun of, and so you're giving people a window of opportunity to continue to do it."
yeah, and I hate when people say it's just a joke because like yeah, they're jokes, but people don't understand that jokes have like real life implications and like the reason that like there's all these just jokes about Indians is the same reason like people make fun of us at school and then literally like I said in the video like people think I was dragging it with that line of like you wonder why girls don't like you, like that's so true. Like I remember girls would literally be like, oh, and I remember one time I asked my friend to put me on with this other girl. And apparently she said like, oh no, he probably smells like curry. Like I swear to God, and that was her reason for like rejecting me. I was at that time I was probably also not the best looking kid, but
That
like
shouldn't be your sole reason for rejecting.
yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. So these jokes have like real life implications that like manifest themselves in our daily lives, and like I don't want another generation of Indian kids to have to grow up being seen as a joke by their whole school and shit.
It's only
Yeah,
a
like-
matter of time before a joke begins to hold actual value and becomes
Yeah.
a stereotype. There's a fine line
Exactly.
between a joke
Exactly.
and a stereotype. And if you keep making the same joke over and over again, people are gonna be like, yo, like this group of people keep saying the same thing about themselves. It's probably true.
And I think
Yeah.
part of that also the reason that like these jokes people think they're okay to make by Indians, but like but usually like say if you make them about black people, there'll be a problem. And I think it's because Indians are generally seen as like a non-threatening people. And,
That's
like,
what I was saying. So I was
Yeah.
saying earlier before you joined the call, the standards for us are so low besides academics. Like
This was on our
sports,
last one too.
like
Yeah.
like sports, music. We are smart, but they don't think we're talented. Like look at Krishna. Like he's a talented brown kid. He raps and he's going to college. Like Krishna,
He's going to USC. That's great.
but like think about it. Like he got in, like you're not solely driven to one thing.
But you guys saw Nav dropping the deluxe tomorrow?
Yeah.
He
Does
just
that?
posted-
Like Nav.
Does it flopped if he's dropping the deluxe deck?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the album was kind of
Okay, it wasn't as good as people hyped it up to be.
just Saint Laurent. Saint Laurent is beautiful.
Thank you. I love
That's
Saint
the only
Laurent.
good song.
And the
'cause it's
song with
old
Don
Nav.
Toliver. And the song with Don Toliver.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
Don Toliver.
I didn't like the Tolliver song.
If you drop deluxe 2 days after the real thing, you
It's
know.
because he needs the hype.
Wait,
He needs
have
the
you guys talked about Nav yet?
We talked about him in
Yeah,
the
a little
first
bit.
episode.
We asked Kay,
but
what
we
do you
haven't
think?
done.
What do you think of Nav?
So basically, Krishna thinks the same thing I do. Like we've already like kind of talked about it, but just like Krishna just posted about it. He was like, oh fuck out of here, Nav. Like you said, he made it cool. He put a line. He was like, did a lot.
It's cool to be brown. Yeah.
Cooler to be brown. I was like, bro, he literally made the word brown boy cool. And I'm not gonna I like that. Now I like calling us a brown boy, but he just did that by totally ignoring all the cultural implications and everything that comes with being a brown boy. So he made it cool to be a brown boy that ignores his culture and acts black. That's basically what he made it. Okay, like
He doesn't embrace the culture. He just says he's brown. The
all.
only part of Nav being brown is him calling himself brown and being able to.
Literally, that is it. That is it.
He coined
Nav
that term
being
for
brown is having
popularity.
that melanin brown like skin. You know who I really respect though? I respect Couple.
Couple is good.
Oh, his raps are fire.
And
Drew's
he-
talented too.
He embraces being brown and being American, and he voices like the stereotypes that we should stop having. Like he incorporates all of that into one, and if he started to make songs, like he would become a big artist. Like
That's what I'm saying. Things like about us, like as Indian Americans, first gens, is we can't, like I was saying earlier, how there's no Indian American culture in the same way there's a white American culture and a black American culture. Like we need to create our own cultural identity, like how we carry ourselves, how we walk, how we talk, how we,
But like Krishna was saying earlier, we need someone to carry it out to start with. Without like a leader or somebody in the social.
Yeah.
We don't need a leader. We just need to stop identifying to one, like Krishna said, like the binary structure. We need to stop identifying to one or the other side, and we need to make our own section. Like,
that's what I'm saying, in that Nav doesn't really help us with creating our own cultural identity.
Nav just used the word brown boy to get clout because he's different than everyone.
But somebody like Kapil who like speaks in who raps in Hindi and English, and like, or even Krishna that talks about being Indian, samples Indian music. That's exactly what we need.
I have one more brown rapper I want to ask you guys about. What do you guys think of Lil He?
Lil He?
Krishna, I wanted to get Krishna's side on Lil He.
I have a long thing. He can go first. Go ahead.
You have anything to say?
He's saying you can go Rish first.
Oh, me? Oh, bet. Well, I guess I like that he kind of reps his culture. I really don't like that he says the N-word. I think that's a terrible look for us as Indian. Like that. Like once he really blows up, it's gonna be a bad look for us.
That's why Nav dropped it once he said it once.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the last song Nav said it and was Beeves in the Trap.
And I think that's like the only time I ever actually
on his first album, it's like he says it on
songs, Simple and The Man, he said it a lot. He didn't say it on any of his own albums, but then he said it on Beeves in the Trap.
No, he said
I think that's why he got called
on the first album. On Nav, if you go through on 10 Toes Down and stuff, he did say it. Because wanna know my winning way, shawty, and I know the lines, bro. Cause I used to analyze this shit, bro.
Dude, I haven't listened to that in a while, and I kind of want to go back. And
that's the best Nav album.
I want to listen. Yeah,
that's hands down. That one and Perfect Timing were the best.
Anyway, what was I saying? So I like that Lil He kind of reps his culture. I do like that, even though I do think, like his album cover was him with like a large bindi on his right. I thought that was a little iffy. But I mean, to be fair, like he shot a music video in front of a temple, and like he reps it more than Nav. So.
I mean, he has a song called Samosa.
Yeah.
That I think he was doing a little bit too much because I listened to that song and it was just.
That's different. One Indian food.
I like Mumbai.
Wait, Krishna, what's your thoughts on him?
Krishna has a.
The first time I ever heard him, I was like, or the first time I saw him on Instagram. I was like, hey, it's an Indian rapper. Let me give him some beats or something. And so I slid into his DMs and I said, hey, yo, let me give you some beats. And then this man, like, didn't reply, whatever. He had 30K. He thinks he's, like, a big star or something. But then later on, I listened to his music and I was like, this just sounds like every other rapper. But that's not really the issue I had with him. The first song I heard, he's saying the N-word every line. I'm like,
okay. He used to say Brigga, apparently.
Yeah, no, he says Brigga and the N-word in the same song. I heard that. I was like, why are you going to create a whole nother word if you're just going to say the N-word regardless?
Yeah. I just don't.
I like how you created Brigga. That was cool.
That was cool. Brigga has a nice ring to it.
To me, that's dumb because you're still.
Yeah, that's dumb.
You're still using the word.
It's like
there's nothing
different. That's why Rich Brian changed it.
Yeah.
He's not about anything that he raps. He's not from Atlanta. I know where he lives. He's outside of Atlanta. It's not the same thing.
No, I was just thinking like he's probably rich as shit. Like he flexes all his stuff. Like I have all respect for him. Like if you see this, I'm not trying to have beef. I'm just saying that like he kind of like he's one of those rappers that'll take pictures like with his watch like that and be like that. And I'm like, bro, like I know like your daddy's money is the reason you have that. It's not like you made money from all the
songs. That's my thing. Just be true. Don't say you made all that money off of music if you didn't make it off of music. I know
there's no way he could have made all that money off of music.
Yeah, not yet. Not at that level. Not yet. But
he had a Rolls Royce.
To be fair, in this group, we all respect brown artists. I just want to put that out there because in case he stumbles upon this, I'm really not trying to get into nothing.
Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. If Lil He sees,
he had his shooters in my DMs too.
I don't know about
at least me. I have some Lil He on my playlist. Okay, I like his music.
Now, Lie on Me is fire.
Yo,
I like
bro,
Tesla. I like
Got
Tesla.
stars in my roof on top
Top
of
of
the
the
world.
I got money on my
That-
mind.
Krishna punching the air right now.
Yeah, Krishna. Like,
Yeah, but like, here's my thing. It's like his third music video, and he's renting a Rolls Royce. There's no way he made enough money to rent a Rolls Royce for a music video.
Wait,
If that's
switching the topic, Krishna, your album. Try and give us a little sneak peek.
facts.
I think you'll send through a snippet, and I'll play it like at the end.
Play it through the thing, or are you?
Do you want me to play it at like the end?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'll give you
I'll
all
put it at like.
of the second song on the album. It's called Bottles. It has
What's your favorite song on the album?
Your personal favorite.
my favorite song.
Wait, have you released a track list?
Not an official one, but I'm probably gonna do that like the day before. But
Okay.
I'll tell
So
you
like when this drops.
my favorite song on the album is 1955, which is already dropped on SoundCloud, but the official release isn't out yet. But the reason I like it is it samples a very old Indian song. Throughout the song, you can hear the sample's pretty prevalent. It's like it's the only instrument besides the drums that are playing.
Wait, what song is it? What's the name?
1955.
No, the
Or
sample.
the Indian song.
I'm not even sure because the other thing is I produce all my music, but this song was co-produced by another Indian kid, which is also very important to me. I like to incorporate other Indian artists into my music because I have the platform to find artists. So
Is it anybody we know?
No, he's not on TikTok. He's just he's a kid who I actually found through one of my black friends, and he's pretty talented. So I gave him the opportunity to co-produce.
That's great.
He found the sample, he like chopped it up and stuff, and I put the drums on it. But I'll find the song and tell y'all.
Yeah, no, because I've heard like a lot of the song because of your TikTok, because you use it a lot in it.
Yeah.
But I actually really like this song.
And I'd say this album is just very different from all my other albums. Since I've had time in quarantine, it's a lot more experimental. So you'll hear different things that aren't completely typical to the music scene today. So
Bro, every time an artist says experimental, that shit turned out to be terrible. I'm not saying yours, but I'm just saying.
like something different. It's just
Okay.
for me as an artist. It's not experimental to the music scene. Like I'm not trying to make sounds or something. It's just different from my previous albums.
Good.
Okay, the baby being melodic now a little bit isn't that bad.
That's what that's melodic, but not
But,
melodic.
yeah.
But
I mean, to be fair to the baby though, like he had to switch them up. Like, I mean, like I like the baby. Like his music is hard, but like he had to switch them up to like make like the listeners.
His music got so
still
boring.
be attracted. Yeah, to like still be attracted to his music. He had to like
I
switch
feel
up the flow or like use up auto tune or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like one thing a lot of rappers struggle with is keeping things interesting. A lot of people fall into the same pattern, the same flow of music, and that's why they end up like losing listeners. Like, so
I think that's what but I hate how like
Lil
some
Pump's a
people
huge
just
example of that. All his songs were the same damn thing, and he fell off. Like he's gone now. No one listens to him anymore. I don't even remember the last time he dropped a song.
you're gonna hear something different on this album. I promise.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is I got a high five from Lil Pump, okay? I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's something.
Wait, how?
That's
I was at
true.
I was at a concert and I was front row. I got a high five. I was there for Skies. I could care less about Pump. I'm
That's what I'm saying. Like no one cares about Lil Pump anymore.
The only song I have from him on my playlist is Jet Ski Grizzly. That's because of T Grizzly. Which
I mean, he was tough when he came out because he brought a different element to it, and then he just didn't change. Like he didn't bring anything else.
My issue with that is because of like people like him, SoundCloud got like a really bad rep now. Because anybody who comes up through using SoundCloud is a SoundCloud rapper, I guess. And I mean, I wouldn't knock someone for the platform they used to blow up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so is this like a rap podcast or like a
Everything
podcast?
Everything.
I actually, well, since we're on the topic, I actually have a question for all y'all. Who are y'all's top 5 rappers of all time?
Oh,
all time, bro?
I'm gonna get so hated.
That's hard.
Wait, do you mean like who I think is genuinely the best 5 rappers?
No,
of all
your
time?
5
It can
favorite.
be well. It can.
Who's
Well,
good or like who I would listen to.
well, okay. So like, what I'm saying is like, it can be. Oh, it can be anything. It can be like who has influenced the rap game the most, who you
Nah,
find
you
the
gotta
best.
specify, bro.
Yeah, there's
All right.
Five
I said-
best rappers or
okay.
my 5 favorite rappers?
Who
That's
are okay? Who are the 5 best rappers of all time? I'm talking just straight out, just music wise.
what's the time frame?
No time frame. It can be anything
What?
of all
music
time.
or influence? Music or influence?
Music, straight
Just
music.
music. Okay.
Tupac,
Biggie,
Biggie,
Kanye.
Jay-Z.
Kanye.
Tupac,
Okay,
Biggie, Kanye, Drake.
wait. Hold on. One at a time.
We'll go with
Okay.
Rishi. Start with Rishi.
I'm saying Tupac, Biggie, Kanye, Drake, Jay-Z.
All right,
That's my 5.
Alright, Krishna.
true.
Nah, we'll go with Krishna first.
I think he needs time. Here, should I go and then you want to go?
Hey, Tupac, Jay-Z, Biggie, Drake, and then Kanye.
We got the same list.
My
Like, dead ahead.
okay, those 5 are on my list too, so I don't know. It's like a different order, but it's the same
Well,
list.
see, the thing is, actually, you guys go. I'll say your 5. I'll
All right, Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, Kanye, Drake.
Okay, Drew.
I would say Tupac, Dr. Dre, Biggie, Jay-Z, and ASAP Rocky.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Interesting.
Oh, it's my turn. Oh shit. All right. I'm gonna say Tupac, Eminem, Drake. I don't know if y'all know this. I don't know if y'all. Andre 3000, Andre 3K,
Ooh, Andre
I
3000.
met him, bro.
and Kendrick Lamar.
Oh,
Kendrick.
oh shit. J. Cole. Take out
See,
ASAP.
Yo,
J.
I
Cole.
forgot
Take
what
out ASAP Rocky, throw in J. Cole.
Yo, no, I take out freaking what was his name? I take out Andre 3K. I put in J Cole.
I feel like these conversations, like, it's hard because like everybody has a different standard.
It's so subjective.
Yeah, of what good rapping is, and even with the generations, like, cause like all of us right now, we all put Tupac and Biggie in our top 5, but then they like we're not about to go listen to Tupac right now. Like, I mean,
Okay.
sometimes I do, but
Who's everyone's 5 favorite rappers? Like personal favorite.
5 favorite. Okay, that's a better.
Okay, like as of
I think
as
that's
of
better.
right, like
Yeah,
as of right
definitely.
now.
As of today. As of today.
Okay.
Bet. I got y'all. Okay, I'm gonna say Drake, Kanye, PMB, Rock. That's the Philly.
Yay, Philly.
I'd say I'm definitely gonna forget somebody, but Lil TJ, I really like.
His was better than Nas. I'm gonna say this now. That was the
That's fact.
release I was waiting for.
TJ went so hard.
And for me, it went TJ's, Dirks, and then Nas on
Yeah.
that night.
All right, wait. Who's your 5th?
Lil Baby.
All right, Mudit, go.
Okay, so Travis, Uzi,
Oh,
Skies. What else? We got
man.
Cardi,
Bro.
ASAP Rocky.
He said Cardi.
Sorry, I
Alright.
love Cardi. I'm sorry.
Oh, I
Alright.
forgot Uzi. Yeah, take out.
Oh yeah, no, and Pretty Boy Kid. Don't
Oh.
forget that.
Take out TJ from mine and put Uzi.
We all know Krishna's real favorite top 5. Pretty Boy K, Krishna. K.
All right, Drew.
I would say Juice World.
Oh, I forgot Juice. Take out ASAP Rocky, put Juice WRLD. Actually, no, take out Cardi.
Red, ASAP Rocky, Tyler the Creator, and Uzi.
All right, Rishi.
All right, can I make it like musicians?
Yeah,
Right.
go
I'm
ahead.
not
He's
rappers.
gonna-
Artists.
Because I'm not gonna lie, like I personally, like I love rap, but what really resonates with me the most is R&B. To be honest, like I just like R&B more. It hits my soul different. I don't know how to explain
Word.
it. So my top 5 would be obviously Drake. I mean, because everyone wants to hate on Drake, be like, oh, he's basic, whatever. He's
Everyone liked
because he's
Drake at one
good.
point of their lives. I'm
He's
gonna say the
basic
same.
because he's good. Like it's simple. Like everyone likes him because he's good. Anyway, Drake, Party Next Door, um, shit. Hold up. Somebody else go, bro. Somebody
Okay,
else go.
okay, I'll go.
He needs time.
So as of right now, Drake. If we're doing artists, then okay. So Drake, Khalid, Juice World. What was his name? Fuck. TJ, Lil TJ, and
Pretty Boy K.
Oh,
and
No, Lil Hell.
Mine is
and,
Ubby Sting.
Yeah,
Yo,
dude,
that's-
I've been saying.
Slaps, bro.
bro, I can't remember his freaking name.
Who? Wait, bro.
Name a song. Name a
And
song.
no, and J Cole.
All right. I forgot to add Roddy Ricch, bro. He's my favorite.
Roddy Ricch is so good.
Bro, his album, it was beautiful. Like that shit deserves like 4 Grammys.
Have you ever been to Powerhouse?
No. Oh wait, you're talking about? No, I didn't, bro. I know.
Well, he came in like 2018 to the Powerhouse. Like he wasn't even performing on his own. He performed down below every season. I was like, yo, this is my new favorite rapper.
Bro, no,
Dude,
like this
I
album.
like Feed the Streets 2 more than I like Please Excuse Me for Being
You are
Antisocial.
bugging. Yeah, you're bugging, bro. Listen to Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial like straight through. There's no skips. Like that. It's just
It's really good. I don't know. It's just Feed
You
the
know
Streets
who's
2
like-
hits me. Like, I like that.
He was one of the best artists though. Like Post Malone, bro. Post Malone makes bangers. And you can't stop, bro. Like you can't tell me I'm wrong.
He's not.
I like the Weeknd more.
The Weeknd is heat, bro. But like if you're like chilling with your friends, like it's like a vibey event. Everyone's just trying to sing songs they know the words to. You would play Post Malone. His songs were catchy. His songs are like they're vibey. They're the mood for a party. Like he's just good.
Are you
No, but
guys?
I don't think I could just be sitting there and only listening to Post
No,
Malone.
definitely not. I'm saying like when you're in a group event, like Post Malone is a go-to for
Also,
me.
to be honest, I think I would put Nav in my top 5 like favorite rappers.
Mm,
Because like
interesting.
even though I don't think he's a very talented artist. Like honestly, it just his old music kind of like hits me different. I don't know why. Just makes me. Oh, fucking Kanye, I'm bugging. Also, Brent Faiyaz, if you guys know him.
Brent Faiyaz is so
I knew
good.
you were gonna say
His voice is
that.
angelic. His
I
voice
saw
is
your album
angelic.
cover thing, and you
Brent
reading it
Faiyaz
under sun.
He's the best.
Yeah. All right, we should talk about brown people. Bro.
I feel like 5 is too small. Like I don't know. I feel like my top 5 is like top 10. Cause I have like ties.
No, but I know Drew will agree with me, but like I think Juice could have been the best of all time.
Bro,
If he
Juice
did
WRLD, he literally had everything going for him, bro. This man could do old school rap. He could sing. He could cover sad, happy. He could freestyle. Yo,
That man can freestyle for
bro,
days without
you're
stopping.
bugging if you don't think Juice WRLD was the best, one of the best freestylers of all time.
That's true. I mean,
All right, because since he's dead, I'm not gonna disrespect him like that, but I have to disagree. Like,
He's not the best freestyler.
Have you heard
everyone's
Juice WRLD?
entitled to
Like,
their own
literally.
opinion. Everyone's
What?
entitled to
Yeah.
their own opinion.
They used to freestyle whole songs, like real songs.
Yeah, Juice WRLD freestyled songs.
Yeah, like
I've been in studios with real rappers because I engineer. They don't freestyle the whole song. They spit it one line, come out of the booth, go back in, spit another line. It's not like they're going off the top of their head. They think of a line, go in the booth and say it, and then they say, "Oh, this was a whole freestyle," just because they don't technically write down any words on paper, but they are thinking of it.
but like
Didn't he have
because-
like over 1,000 unreleased songs?
I have literally all of them.
Yeah, it's not 1,000. It's like 200. I have all of them too.
Yeah, there's like 130 maybe.
Yeah. I respect him as an artist, but freestyler, not one of the best of all time.
I don't know. Fire in the booth was
his fire in the
best
booth.
fire in the booth that I saw.
The one that he went like 20 minutes, that was a freestyle. But if a rapper's spitting one verse for a freestyle, it's pre-written. They just memorized it. You can tell too.
Come on, there's a video of him going for an hour straight on a beat.
Yeah, that one I believe.
That was crazy.
No, it says sources close to Juice WRLD said there were around 2,000 unreleased tracks. Not all of them are public. But.
So there's one like upcoming artist now. What do y'all think about Jack Harlow?
I like Jack Harlow.
Oh.
Every now and then, it's like a hit or miss for me. I don't know. Some songs hit, some songs don't.
I like him, but he needs to expand his horizons a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he needs to explore something a little different because he comes with a basic flow right now.
Do you guys like the Kid Laroi?
What's Poppin' was tough. Out front. The Kid Laroi is crazy. He's blowing up for sure. His Costa Rica remix was so fire. And you have to keep in mind,
like, have I told you guys? I discovered him in like September 2018. I have a spam post on my Instagram literally posting one of his songs in October 2018.
No, he's like, okay, you got to think about like, maybe
he's younger than me. And he's like
15.
He turns 17 in August, bro. Like that man is young.
He had a hit song with Thakkar. His song blew up on TikTok. He's collaborating with Einar Banks at 16.
That shit's crazy, bro.
That's insane.
Einar Banks.
Bro, like Einar Banks is tough.
That's a ukulele. Dude.
Yeah, that's a ukulele.
You're acting like it's an accomplishment to work with him, bro. He probably reaches out to every young rapper to work with.
To pay to get.
I don't know.
He worked with Sidhu Moosewala, bro. Why are you trying?
Who is that?
You don't know Sidhu? You don't know Sidhu, bro?
No.
He's a Punjabi artist. I'm about to pull up the video. It's actually fire. It's actually very fire.
But I lead a lot of the Kid Laroi's like first blowing up to Lyrical Lemonade, which I love Cole Bennett. His music videos. That man is like, I don't know. He discovers just like really good artists, and like he's actually his music videos are so like.
His production is so good.
Yeah. No one can top his, honestly. Music video wise, I really like. He wants
Lyrical Lemonade merch, bro. Honestly.
Dude, I have some.
Yeah, I want to get.
Do you want me to showcase? Do you want me to showcase?
All right, look.
Yo.
Wait, listen though. It's actually fire.
I think I've heard this before.
Yeah, all right. Punjabi music is fire, bro.
Punjabi music hits, yeah.
For sure.
That's my dream, to make like a song with a Indian artist from India. That'd be so tough. Like how
some of them are actually tough. Like
yeah, a lot of them are very tough. It's just it will never go mainstream because it
just stays in.
Bro, what if you collaborated with like Badshah or Imran Khan?
Yeah, that's the dream.
Because they love our remix featuring Pretty Boy K.
Yeah, I don't
you low key, you should do that.
I was thinking about it. I sampled Amplifier. Like I took this.
Have you guys heard the what's it called? The Yummy remix by that dude Tesher?
Oh yeah.
I heard the Young Shahrukh one.
You got what I want, Sony, yeah. And like I don't know all the words.
Yeah, we need more stuff like that, bro. Like that like integrates our culture and American culture. Like that's exactly what we need.
That's my whole reasoning behind doing the Bollywood track remix.
But
then you the haters that are like, you're ruining the original song. Well, if you don't like it, go listen to the other song. Like,
you guys listen to Bollywood music? I listen to that shit so much, bro. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh no, I don't. I hate to say, but I don't.
All right, yo, honest to God, my favorite Bollywood songs are from the same movie.
No,
Ye Jawani Hai Diwani.
Oh yeah,
that's the best soundtrack of all time. Badtameez Dil, Balam Pichakari.
Okay, like I grew up on those songs.
My favorite song is Why This Colombian D.
Bro,
Dude, you know that TikTok?
don't even get me started on that shit, bro.
A little like that.
No, man.
That I don't even know. Because
Song did hit though.
they painted that song to be a racist song.
Bro, the thing is, listen, people were getting so worked up about like whether or not it's racism or colorism. And then mad people were like, oh no, it's racism. And then all these non-Indian people were like, oh, it's racism. And then all these Indian people were like, oh no, it's colorism. And I don't know, the thing is, I'm not trying to brag, say I'm smart, but I'm generally like pretty educated. And it's like, I'm just sitting there like, how the fuck do I educate to these people that racism is literally, like colorism is literally internalized racism. Like racism is the idea that white people are better, and that is why Indians are colorist. But colorism, we use colorism for a reason. So like, there's people that like,
I hate how it's like North India versus South Indian is not everyone's equal.
The thing is, I feel like the black people feeling attacked, I get why they would think that it has something to do with them, but in reality, it has to do with our own struggles.
yeah, that's exactly why the word colorism exists. Like, I'm not saying it's not racism because it kind of stems from racism, but it's not racism attacking African descent people. That's what we need to be saying, because it was just too much bullshit on both sides of that whole thing, bro. Like,
People just hear things they hear things and repeat it.
exactly.
They don't know what the meaning of the word is.
I just feel like the world in general is so uneducated about India and like South Asia, and it gets me so mad because we're literally 1/4 of the world's population, and our culture is so beautiful, and like we invented mad shit in history, and people just love to fucking ignore us and treat us like a joke. Like,
Yeah.
it's mad, bro.
We're perpetual foreigners. We just
Yeah, exactly.
no matter
That's
what
all Asian American.
we'll still be immigrants. Like my parents were both born here. I'm still gonna be looked at as different or an immigrant, even though I'm 100% American. That's
Yep. 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 All right, you guys got any more topics?
Yeah, I think that's actually it. Like,
Oh wait, Rishi, I never got your opinion on Never Have I Ever. Do you want to finish off with
Oh
that?
yeah.
Because we got Krishna's, but we never got
yeah.
yours.
I made a video about it actually, but
Oh yeah, he did. He did.
I do think there are some problems with it. And obviously there's a few problems. For example, like there's a scene that's kind of Islamophobic. There's one joke about like a Jew where it's just totally out of pocket. And yeah, it kind of perpetuates a little bit positive stereotypes. But I do think overall the show is very important, and like it has a net positive effect. And that like there's some negatives, but the good of it like heavily outweighs the bad. And if you watch my video, you'll see that like I talk about how the struggle of like being whitewashed and wanting to fit in with white people. Like I know Krishna, you were saying in my video, and like that's totally valid. Is that like it kind like he was saying that it shows people that all Indians only care about fitting in, and what like I'm just saying that like while it might seem like that's a negative thing, I think the truth is, Krishna, that like that's reality. Is that like most Indian kids at some point or another want to fit in with white people, like in white society. And while that might be like you might think it's bad to show on TV, I just see it as like a critique of America, of like it's kind of showing those white people in a way. And I know it's hard to see this because like again, nobody's looking at it this like you were saying, nobody's this educated. They're not looking at it through this lens, but it kind of it's almost in a way a critique of how like as minorities in America, our culture is like so exoticized, like made to be exotic, made to look exotic, like the whole perpetual foreigner thing, like we're made to look this way to the point that like we want to fit in, we want to deny our own culture. So it kind of it's a very real experience. And like I know when I was a kid going through those things and like going through what Davey goes through, if I saw somebody on TV that had the same struggles as me and like they didn't know where to fit in with Indian culture and just wanted to neglect it, I would feel so much more represented. And I know so many brown girls like feel really happy about it and really represented. And of course, there's going to be problems. It's not going to be perfect. But if we totally condemn this show and say, oh, it's terrible, and just focus on the little negatives of it, the thing is, if we keep bringing down brown creators, they're not going to make more shows. So we have to look at this show, see the positives of it, give it constructive criticism, and that will pave the way for more shows to come. Because at the end of the day, if I'm Mindy Kaling and everybody's shitting on my show, I'm gonna give up. Like, I'm not gonna make another one. Like, why would I give back to my community if they don't want to appreciate me and see that I'm clearly trying to do something for the community? And like, even Maitri, like the star of the show, I was talking to her about it. Like, she really wants to emphasize that it's one story. And like, us as South Asians, we see so little of us on TV that like we're so barely represented that we'll see one character and just think that we need to be completely represented by it and we need to fully relate to it. But at the end of the day, the truth is that though we're all South Asian, we all have very different experiences, and this is just one story. And of course, there's going to be goods and bads to it, but I do think it's a really important forward step for our community in terms of representation. But of course, it can be a lot better, and it better get better. We have to.
It doesn't get, I'm gonna have a real even bigger problem with.
No, yeah, we can always demand better, but this is the last thing I'll say. I'll stop talking because I know I'm really chatting right now. Like, but the last thing I'll say is that I think it's always better to be able to discuss how we are being represented rather than discuss
not being
represented at all. Exactly. Yeah. That's my thoughts.
Well, I think we covered everything we needed to talk about.
That gave a lot of perspective, actually.
Yeah.
That changed my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. This was What's the Move with Mudit, Krish, Dhruv, and our two guests, Prettyboyk K and Rishi. Thank you guys for coming on here.
You guys should
Make sure
follow them on TikTok. You guys can say your ads.
Prettyboyk K1.
I'm Rish.dog. Guys, this was mad fun, bro. This was mad fun.
3 days album coming out.
Get the Solar Tapes May 13th.
Solar tapes.
Where is it available?
Everywhere.
Spotify, Apple Music.
All platforms.
International.
All right.
All right, bye guys.
All right, guys. I'd love to do this again with you guys whenever.
Yes,
Of course,
sir.
of course.